Right now, inside your body, a quiet countdown is already running, and you cannot pause it. Every minute, you lose a little water. You breathe some out as invisible mist. You leak some through your skin without ever noticing. Your kidneys spend it just to keep you clean. So imagine that the tap's all closed. No drink, no soup, not a single drop. At first, nothing dramatic. You would feel thirsty, then a little foggy. But underneath that calm, your blood would begin to thicken, your brain would physically shrink against your skull, and your body's cooling system would start to shut its own valves to save what little is left. And here is the part most people get wrong. You will not last anything close to the weeks you can survive without food. The clock for water is brutally short, and in the wrong weather, it can run out in a single afternoon. Your body is almost 2/3 water, and every system you have is just borrowing it. This is what happens, hour by hour, as that water quietly drains away. And the first warning comes sooner than you think. Before we watch it disappear, you have to understand what is leaving. Roughly 60% of your body is water. Your blood is mostly water. Your brain is about 3/4 water. Even your bones hold a surprising amount. You are, in a very real sense, a walking puddle that learned to think. But this water is not just sitting there. It is the stage on which every chemical reaction in you takes place. Nutrients dissolve in it to travel. Waste dissolves in it to leave. It fills your blood so it can flow, cushions your joints so they glide, and carries heat away from your core so you do not cook from the inside. The catch is that you cannot store it the way you store fat. There is no water tank waiting in reserve. Every day you lose around 2 to 3 liters of it, even doing nothing. You breathe it out in every exhale. It evaporates off your skin in a slow, silent trickle, and your kidneys must spend a fixed amount just to flush the day's waste into urine. There is one more twist. Your body cannot simply slow this loss to nothing and wait it out. The machinery of staying alive, the beating heart, the firing neurons, the warm skin, all of it spends water as it runs. To stop spending water entirely, you would have to stop being alive. Normally, you top the tank back up by drinking, and the level holds steady. So the question is not really how long you can go without water. It is how long your body can keep running while the level drops and nothing refills it. The moment you stop drinking, that balance tips, and your body notices almost immediately. Lose just 1 or 2% of your water, and the alarms start ringing. Deep in your brain, a small cluster of cells called the hypothalamus is constantly tasting your blood, not for sugar or oxygen, but for saltiness. As water leaves, the salt in your blood becomes more concentrated, and those cells feel it instantly. Their first move is to make you thirsty. That dry, nagging pull toward a glass of water is not a suggestion. It is a direct command from your brain trying to save your life. But thirst is only half the response. The hypothalamus also fires off a chemical messenger called antidiuretic hormone, which races down to your kidneys with a single order: stop wasting water. Your kidneys obey. They are your body's filtration plant, and normally they let a steady stream of water pass out as urine. Now they clamp down, pulling as much water back into the blood as they can. The result is urine that turns dark, deep yellow, and scarce. That color change is your kidneys rationing the very last of your supply. This is the clever part. In these early hours, your body is fighting hard and mostly winning. You feel thirsty and a bit tired, but you are still you. There is even a subtle trick at work. As your saliva dries up and your mouth goes sticky, that dryness itself drives the thirst harder, nagging at you long before any organ is truly in danger. Your body would rather warn you far too early than a moment too late. The problem is that conservation only slows the loss. It cannot stop it. You are still breathing water out, still leaking it through your skin. The tank is still draining, just a little more slowly. And once the easy savings run out, the trouble moves into your blood. Your blood is where the next crisis hits, because blood is mostly water too. As you dehydrate, your body pulls water out of the blood to protect your vital organs. But that means the blood left behind gets thicker and sludgier, like syrup instead of juice, and the total volume of it starts to fall. This is a serious problem because your blood is your delivery system. It carries oxygen to every cell and heat away from your core. When there is less of it, and it moves more slowly, your heart has a harder job. So it does the only thing it can. It beats faster. You can actually feel this. Your pulse quickens even while you sit still. Stand up too fast and the room tilts because there is not enough blood volume to push back up to your brain against gravity. This is why dehydrated people feel dizzy and lightheaded. Their pump is working overtime to move a shrinking supply. Your blood pressure begins to sag. To compensate, your body squeezes the blood vessels in your skin and your gut tighter, shunting the remaining blood toward the organs that matter most, your heart and your brain. Your hands and feet may turn cool and pale as they are quietly cut off from the supply. Your body has become a triage unit, sacrificing the edges to protect the center. It is a smart strategy, but a desperate one. And the organ it is fighting hardest to protect is the one that is about to feel the loss most sharply. Here is something that sounds impossible, but is completely real. When you get dehydrated enough, your brain physically shrinks. Remember, your brain is around 3/4 water. As the water level in your body falls, water is drawn out of your brain cells, and the whole organ pulls in slightly, away from the inside of your skull. Your brain floats in fluid and is anchored to the skull by tiny tethers and membranes. When it shrinks back, it tugs on those anchors. That pulling sensation is one cause of the pounding dehydration headache, the kind you get after a long flight or a rough night. Your head literally aches because your brain is shrinking inside it. And a shrinking, water-starved brain does not think well. This is when the mental fog rolls in. Your concentration slips. Simple decisions feel heavy. Your mood sours, and your reaction time slows down. Studies show that even mild dehydration, the kind you would barely call an emergency, measurably dulls your memory and your focus. This is part of why you feel foggy and short-tempered on a long, dry afternoon when you simply forgot to drink. That is not weakness or a bad mood. It is your brain running slightly low on the one ingredient it needs most, quietly turning down its own performance. Push further and it gets dangerous. Confusion sets in. Words come slowly. A severely dehydrated person can become irritable, disoriented, and unable to think clearly enough to even realize they need help. This is the cruel twist of dehydration. The very organ you would need to solve the problem, to find water and drink it, is the organ being switched off. The longer it goes, the less able you are to save yourself. And while your mind is dimming, the system meant to keep you cool is starting to betray you too. Your body has a brilliant air conditioner, and it runs entirely on water. When you get too hot, you sweat. That thin film of moisture evaporates off your skin, and as it lifts away, it carries a huge amount of heat with it. This is how you survive a hot day without your insides boiling. But sweat is water, and now water is the one thing you cannot spare. So your body faces an impossible choice. Keep sweating to stay cool and lose precious fluid even faster, or stop sweating to save water and let your core temperature climb. As dehydration deepens, your body is forced to ration its sweat, turning down the very cooling it depends on. Your temperature begins to rise, and heat speeds up everything that is already going wrong. Your heart, already racing, beats harder still. Your blood, already thick, struggles more. In a cool, shaded place, this happens slowly, but in the heat, it accelerates into a spiral. This is exactly why the same body can survive several days without water in mild conditions, yet just hours in a scorching desert. Out in blazing sun, a person can sweat out more than a liter an hour, draining their entire reserve before a single day has passed. It also explains an old piece of survival wisdom. Moving in the cool of night and resting in shade by day is not just about comfort. It is about hoarding water, refusing to sweat a drop you do not have to. Every degree you keep your body from climbing is time bought back. Heat does not just make you uncomfortable. It tears through your water supply and shoves the whole shutdown forward by days. And as your temperature climbs and your blood thins out, the pressure lands hardest on the two organs that have been quietly cleaning up Through all of this, your kidneys have been the unsung heroes, and now they are being pushed past their limit. All day, every day, your kidneys filter your entire blood supply over and over, pulling out toxins and waste and packaging them into urine. But filtering needs pressure, and pressure needs blood volume. And blood volume is exactly what you are running out of. For a while, the kidneys cope by concentrating the urine harder and harder, squeezing the maximum waste into the minimum water. But there is a flaw. They simply cannot make urine drier than a certain point. Below that, every drop of toxin they remove costs water you no longer have. So as blood volume keeps falling, the kidneys begin to starve. With too little blood flowing through them, their delicate filters start to shut down. And when the kidneys slow, the waste they were removing has nowhere to go. It begins to build up in your blood, the very poisons your body works so hard to expel. Now the damage compounds. Toxins rise. The chemistry of your blood, the careful balance of salts that keeps your heart beating in rhythm, starts to drift out of range. And this is why drinking seawater is a death sentence rather than a rescue. It is so salty that your kidneys must spend more water flushing the salt than the sea water ever gave you. Every desperate gulp digs the hole deeper, draining you faster than drinking nothing at all. This is the point where dehydration stops being miserable and becomes truly life-threatening. Your filtration plant is failing, your blood is turning toxic, and every other system is already running on empty. The countdown that began as a simple thirst is now closing in on its final hour. So let us put the whole countdown together. In comfortable conditions, with shade and rest, a person can typically survive around 3 days without water, and in rare cases, stretch toward a week. In punishing heat, that window can collapse to a single day or even just hours. The famous rule of thumb, 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, is rough, but the order is no accident. Water sits terrifyingly close to the front. By the end, the failures all feed each other. Blood volume has dropped so low that the heart can no longer keep pressure up. The brain, starved and overheated, drifts toward unconsciousness. The kidneys have quit, and toxins flood the bloodstream. The final event is usually circulatory collapse, the moment the heart can no longer push enough blood to keep the brain and organs alive. Quietly, the countdown reaches 0. And yet here is the hopeful truth hiding inside all this. For almost the entire journey, the process is reversible. Right up until the late stages, a few glasses of water can rewind nearly all of it. The thirst, the headache, the racing heart, the foggy mind, all of it was your body buying you time, begging you to refill the tank. That nagging dread you feel by mid-afternoon is not a minor annoyance. It is the opening note of this exact countdown, caught early. Your body is extraordinarily good at surviving without water for a while. It is just counting on you to never let it find out how long. So the next time you reach for a glass of water, picture everything it quietly switches back on. The blood thinning back to liquid, the brain swelling gently back to its skull, the kidneys reopening their filters, the cooling system free to sweat again, one drink undoing a countdown. Your body is a machine that runs on water, fighting every second to keep that level steady so you never have to think about it. Maybe, now, you will think about it a little more. If you want to know what happens at the other end of that supply chain, watch the one where we follow your dinner on its strange journey through your gut, and the one on what really happens to your body the moment you start to panic. Your body is stranger and far more determined to keep you alive than you ever imagined. This was Doodle Anatomy.